The company's based in Brentford, which is where I live. I then was offered some old stables, which we converted into a joiner shop. We put a very sympathetic extension onto this workshop, which is now a fully equipped joiner shop. So we're not only able to just draft-proof and enhance the performance of people's windows, clients' windows, if their windows are beyond repair, we can actually make windows in exactly the same style, with the same profiles of timber that they have existing. Our clients come from all walks of life. We have barristers, architects, surveyors, multi-billionaires, self-made men, down to a couple that just may have a little listed cottage in Surrey or Sussex or up in Cambridgeshire and maybe just want one or two windows restoring. Since customers have, or the householders have taken a pride in their houses and have wanted to put them back to the way they used to be, as original as possible, there's been the fallacy that putting sealed units or double glazing in will reduce noise. In fact, it doesn't. At some frequency, it does in fact amplify. But that's only something that dogs, cats and bats would know about. But what has come on the market in the last 10 years is an acoustic glass. And we find that we're being asked more and more, because as I say, people lead hectic lives, stressful lives, and they want a bit of peace and quiet. So we find that this acoustic glass, which is just two pieces of glass bonded together with a resin, actually reduces noise to quite considerably. And this has become quite an important part of our business now. Another important factor to our business is that we can fit what is known as double glazing, but in fact in the trade it's sealed units. That is two pieces of glass with a gap between them. Now in the past the gap would have been quite wide, anything up to 20 millimeters with dry air. And some years ago somebody invented a system which involved putting argon gas in between the glass, which reduced the gap. Now there is, in the last 5 years, somebody has come up with a sealed unit that only has a 4 millimeter gap between the two pieces of glass, and that is because they use two separate gases called xenon and krypton, and they have the same performance as a much wider sealed unit, which would be impossible to put into a standard listed building window. And it's being accepted far more by the conservation groups and planning consent, etc., because it can be put into a traditional window. Another product, which is actually a Teflon draft stripping, as it's called, and that is impervious to paint and stain. So if you get a clumsy decorator or a householder painting his own windows, if he gets paint on this draft stripping, when it's dry, the paint will just literally peel off. And also it remains white, whereas the standard nylon brush tile acts as a filter from road film and dust and pollen, etc., and slowly changes colour.